Yo, what everybody, it's your boy OldManSim here, back with some more fire content, another react video. Today we're going to react to the video by the one, the only 𝕃𝕃𝕆, one of my most favorite creators on YouTube. Big Halo fan, been playing it since, the beginning. He's been very positive and critical about Halo Infinite. I'm interested to see what he says, if there's any hope for Halo. I know some of the devs have left. I know Microsoft did some cut costing measures. I'm very curious to see what he has to say about it, because it's a game that when Halo Infinite came out, he was like, Halo's back, baby. So I'm wondering what he has to say. But for those of you who don't know, I stream over on Twitch 5 days a week. You'll be able to find the link below. Also, if you like this content or any other content that I put out, please hit a like, subscribe, leave a comment below. It helps the channel out a lot. It helps with the algorithm. It gets my videos out there. It just helps a lot. So if y'all could do that, that'd be blessed. And let's get into the video. All right, guys. So we're here, like I said before, with 𝕃𝕃𝕆. He's talking about if there's any hope for Halo. This video just came out. I haven't seen it, so we're gonna react to it, see what he has to say. He's usually really fucking funny, so I'm so excited to see what he has to say. And like I said, he's a big Halo fan, so I'm very curious. Let's get into this real quick.
Man here, and today it's been a while since my last Halo video. Let's check in on how things are going.
12 seconds later.
Joe Staten is leaving the studio to rejoin Xbox Publishing.
No, God!
It's done, bro. It's done.
No, God, please, no!
Joe's gone.
No!
Yeah, this sucks, man. This was big when Microsoft announced that they were cutting. I'll rewind it a little bit. They were cutting not only 343 Studios people, but they're also cutting Bethesda people, which they just acquired like last year, the year before last, whenever it was, not too long ago. So we'll see.
Is leaving the studio to rejoin Xbox Publishing.
No, God!
It's done, bro. It's done.
No, God, please, no!
Joe's gone.
No!
Joe is gone.
No!
Joe Staten has left 343.
It's not fair!
This is a studio that was hit especially hard by the layoffs, and it's raising some concerns about the future of the Halo franchise.
Can Halo just catch a break, man?
Like, that's crazy. Like, the game started out, it didn't have as much content as it should have. It pushed back co-op. And I understand there was a lot of issues with it, but once they put out Forge mode, they did get some numbers back. They didn't get enough people to put out some great content with the Forge, but it might have been too little too late. So while I don't feel anybody should ever lose their job if they were going to do cost-cutting measures, I understand why it came at 343 Studios' expense. And I'm glad to see that some of those people landed back with Xbox. I mean, no, I know 343 is an Xbox entity, but I was more surprised by some of the Bethesda cuts than I was the 343 Studio cuts. But yeah, man, like he just said, can Halo catch a break, man? Like literally, Halo 1 and 2, 3 were fucking elite. But they've just been taking L's, man. Like Halo 5, the release of Infinite, Master Chief Collection. You couldn't play all the games. I don't know, man. Let's see.
Like, the bad luck should have run out by now, unless 343 was built on an Indian burial ground.
Sometimes that is better.
Given the events between the release of Halo Infinite and now, I think we're all a little bit worried about the future of the Halo franchise. This is a topic that we've rarely discussed on the channel. Yes! As I'm sure
he's discussed it a lot, and I've watched a lot of videos, and he's been one of Halo's biggest supporters. But honestly, one of my opinions, their biggest mistakes is, I'm not a big Battle Royale fan, but they messed up when they said we're not putting a Battle Royale in this game. Companies and games need to learn to adapt, just like streamers need to learn to adapt and musicians learn to adapt. I know a lot of people call it selling out or whatever, but you got to go with what's popular. The most popular shooting type of game right now are Battle Royales. If you're not a Battle Royale shooter, you're a looter shooter. Those are the only two that are really viable right now. People don't watch Call of Duty for Call of Duty multiplayer. They watch Call of Duty for Call of Duty Warzone. Fortnite is still one of the biggest games out there. PUBG made a comeback once they went free. Literally FPSs or Battle Royale is taking over the scene, and the fact that they were stubborn and said they wouldn't do it. And to me, Halo would be a perfect game to have a Battle Royale. But the only Battle Royale, only BR they wanted was battle rifles, which is crazy. You know what I mean? I think I've heard Asmon say that. That's not original by me, but anyway, they just refuse to adapt. Imagine they put out a BR with Forge mode. You can make your own BR map. That'd be fucking crazy, bro.
Sure, you've heard bad news. Microsoft and many other tech companies have announced loads of layoffs in preparation for a recession that once again, I'm sure Obama is responsible for. Damn you, Obama! But there's quite a few angles to this story, and I hope.
And it's not just Microsoft that's doing it. A lot of companies are laying off in the recession, especially tech companies. For some reason, during COVID, there was a big boom. Everybody was at home, so everybody's consuming internet content, games, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of need for workers, and they even learned how to work for remotely on some games. But they needed more hands on deck, and now that like the recession is coming or is happening, prices are going up, and people aren't making as much money, so their money's not being circulated.
Hope to cover them all.
It's
More
bound to
importantly, I hope to answer the question that is no doubt burning in so many people's heads. How could this happen to Halo? And of course, we've got other fun questions like should 343
Bungie leaving? I mean, Bungie is just was a great studio. They, even before Halo came out, they put out good titles, and then Halo, they mastered what the FPS was then, you know what I'm saying? Like, they revolutionized it. And once they left to do their own thing, once they went to do their own thing with Destiny, yes, Destiny had a horrible launch at first, like with not much content, but Destiny 2 is still one of the biggest games out there, you know what I mean? So like, and now they're an independent studio. They got independence from, was it Activision, I believe? But the loss, like there's no way other studios can try to do it, and you've seen it before with games. Like, it's hard to replicate something else another studio did, and those minds behind it. Like, Halo lives on in Destiny.
3 continue developing the Halo games? Or is it time another studio had a crack at it? Definitely a hot topic of discussion. And what are these?
Yo, I love what he flashed there. If the Doom studio, John Romero and the people over at id Software, if they took over the Halo franchise, they would have a chance, because obviously Doom is their baby and has been since the beginning. But Doom, had a little lull, and then Doom came back, and the most recent Doom was praised. You know what I mean? Like, Doom has had a hell of a resurgence. So you give them that title, make it a little bit more Doomish, a little faster pace or whatever, but give Doom the multiplayer aspect of Halo, and I think, dude, you got something there. So I like that he flashed id Software.
What job cuts mean for the future of Halo and 343? What is the state of Infinite right now? Are they gonna unfuck the TV show in season 2?
What are you doing?
They're doing a second season.
So much uncertainty.
Which I didn't watch it because I heard they unmasked Master Chief, and that was the biggest things about Master Chief, is that the mystery. So once I heard they unmasked him, I was like, fuck this, I'm not watching it.
Now, before we jump any further into it, this video is sponsored by Bespoke. Bespoke is a website that offers all sorts of themed boxes to engage your interests, and thank you to Bespoke for supporting staff leaving 343.
Something completely different.
The recent layoffs and important staff leaving 343 has left loads of room for speculation and rumor. As some said, 343 was retiring as a Halo developer entirely. Former employees have come out to speak about piss poor management at Microsoft. It just seems like this is kind of a fucking disaster, you know what I mean? Now, where to begin untangling this? Well, Microsoft will be laying off 10,000 employees between January 8th and June 30th. And this wasn't a targeted drone strike, okay? This was blind fire into the crowd. Pretty much all aspects of Microsoft's business will be, or probably have been, hit by these layoffs, including their subsidiaries like the Coalition, Bethesda, and of course 343.
Which, like I said, it sucks people are losing their jobs. But the reason why I believe, like I said before, more 343 people were laid off was probably because of how the game's received and the sales for the games and the concurrent player base. It's like low, compared to a lot of other games. I don't know, man. Like I said, maybe another studio should take it over. Halo's still a profitable name. They just need a studio behind it that people have faith in. I don't think people have faith in 343 anymore.
You might have noticed something odd about this, namely the timing, because coincidentally the announcement that they will be laying off 10,000 employees comes a year to the day, exactly 1 year to the day, that Microsoft announced they were buying Activision Blizzard. Now, I'm no gambler, but that seems like a 1 in 365 chance of that happening. And to go with an age-old quote,
"But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare."
So they're likely making room for this colossal takeover, which got me thinking, how many people work at Activision Blizzard?
Which makes sense, because they are taking that over as long as everything passed. They said it should be finalized by June, I believe. So they will need to make room because they're not officially owning that studio or have those people studios or have those people as their workers. So that's another thing that would make sense is they're trying to make room for that in the budget and under the umbrella.
9,800, awfully close to 10K.
Yo,
But as one
that's,
trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
Now I want to say
yo, that's crazy. So they laid off 10,000 to hire 9,800. This dude does his research.
that layoffs like these are always really tough on a lot of hardworking people that don't necessarily deserve to lose their jobs. I hope all the people who lost their jobs can land on their feet and get a new one. And please don't attack or be an asshole to anyone at 343. You know, now's not a good time to ask, hey, when are playable elites coming back? You already know the answer. It's never. So this begs the question, with all these studios and IPs Microsoft has or is acquiring, do they need as many people to work on Halo? Maybe.
And one of those studios id Software with Doom.
Maybe the Halo franchise is determined to just not be as profitable, so they're pulling resources from it. You know, why invest trying to revitalize this thing that hasn't worked for the better part of a decade when you got Call of Duty coming in, and Call of Duty always sells, even when everyone agrees the games are shit. It still tops the charts every year.
It's so fucking true.
Talking out my ass.
Call of Duty is so shit, but it sells every year, and that's the thing. They're gonna get Call of Duty. They're gonna get the Fallout franchise. Well, I think they already have that with Bethesda, but they have like all these franchises they're getting and ones they already have to where like, do they even need to?
Yes, when I give this take, but it seems kind of odd for a company to cut jobs in a business that's doing really well. Now, I did hear from an inside source at Bungie something interesting. They said in 2008, a year after Halo 3 released, an unprecedented economic crisis hit the US and the world. Bungie ended up hiring more people and made ODST and Reach. It's not always the economy. From what we've heard, 343 has lost about 60 employees, with 30 of those coming from.
Damn, so when we had the big crash in 2008, they hired more people, so maybe it isn't just a recession. Maybe
the art team alone. Certainly doesn't bode well for Infinite given the already sluggish pace of updates, their eternal struggle to deliver promises and meet deadlines, and provide any semblance of a live service. Most of the cuts were geared towards the campaign art and animation teams, which has pretty much destroyed any idea of Infinite campaign DLC.
which sucks, because I remember the thing that I loved most about playing Halo Infinite, I mean not Halo Infinite, the Halo games, was once online co-op became a part of it, I played all of the online co-ops with friends, and then did all the stuff where you had the different skulls and you get different multipliers and stuff. So when this got delayed, I was really like down about it. Like not down, but I was really upset. Like damn, this sucks. And then now that there's not going to be any DLCs because they cut most of the team towards campaign, that sucks even more. But at the same time, I also do realize games are more online based now, unless people play campaigns.
I thought that was going to be a given when the game first came out, and then they just had
campaign DLC never existed.
Story events that I think they've abandoned now.
My gear. It's not standard issue. It's
looks like a Titan from Destiny, bro.
History.
Neil Harrison, the former director of art management, was among one of the layoffs. So basically, the art team that gave us this.
That's a dope ass picture.
The team that finally gifted us the Halo art style we have been waiting for. Are they just all gone now? It's also important to note that Microsoft is cutting 10K jobs over a period of time. This didn't just happen at once.
Okay. I thought they cut them all at one time.
More interesting to me why 343 was hit immediately. You know, like I'm just trying to put all the pieces together to get an accurate reading on the.
I wonder how many people they have in their studio, because they only lost 60. I say only 60, but like Blizzard had like 9,800 or something, right? So I wonder how many they have overall.
State of 343 and by extension the state of the Halo franchise. I don't think it's looking good. Now, a former 343 employee came out, Patrick Wren, and said, the layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. And Jason Schreier from Bloomberg seems to agree with this statement, and it pretty much confirms what I've heard about behind-the-scenes development, which brings us to.
I mean, that happens a lot in the industry though. Like CD Projekt Red came under scrutiny for, you know, the crunch time shit. I forgot what they call it, but CD Projekt Red came under big scrutiny for that. And most studios do that. The upper management make it really difficult on them. But I can understand, you know, if Microsoft is making it more difficult for them. So
Joe Staten, our boy, while he has not technically been laid off from 343, he is leaving to resume his position at Xbox Publishing. It is a sad day. Now, technically we should have expected this since this was kind of the plan the whole time, but the timing is like right alongside all of these layoffs. The timing is just really bad. One might say sus. And to see someone like so revered by the Halo community leave at a time like this, you know, it sucks, man. Wouldn't it have been great if Joe was working on more story elements? It seemed like every time he appeared in a video is just to deliver bad news, you know? It's like, oh, what could have been? So amidst all this controversy, people started to speculate that 343 would be given the boot from Halo entirely. Let's give it to id Software. Let's give it to Infinity Ward, or
I wouldn't want to give it to Infinity Ward. Definitely give it to id. I am all bored giving it to id Software.
Treyarch, or no, fucking keep it away from Sledge.
Yeah, keep it away from Sledgehammer. I would do Infinity Ward or Treyarch, but not Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer puts out some even shittier Call of Duties.
Hammer, actually, let's reel that idea back. But some of these rumors garnered so much attention that it warranted an official response from Pierre Heinz, who's now the head of 343. He made a short statement on Twitter that reads, "Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great." The word vague comes to mind, right? You can't say the franchise is in a good state when it is necessary for leadership to come out and say, don't worry guys, we all still have a job. Like, we're still going to be making Halo. Could you imagine if
yeah, if you got to tell people you're still there, it's kind of
Nintendo was like, don't worry fellas, we're still going to be making Mario games. Like, at what point what point does that happen? What does it say about the state of things? Like what? Imagine what could have possibly prompted such a response to be necessary? The reaction to the statement from Pierre has been interesting. You've got some people relieved that things aren't going to change and that 343 is still going to be in the loop on things, and you've got others who are disappointed, not reassured. But I also think it's funny when he says epic stories.
Sorry, my cat and dog are playing in the background, if y'all heard that.
Right as the time that they're laying off a whole bunch of the campaign team.
The endless will return.
So we're probably not going to ever learn what the endless are. I'm telling you. With 343's track record, this will probably be a plot point that they just kind of like solve off screen, and the next Halo game is going to once again reboot the story. You know, I honestly, I have not been a fan of the majority of the 343 Halo games. Like, maybe they should be in charge of something else or make something else. I just don't think they should be making Halo anymore. And that's just me. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a lot of people are upset that 343 might not be making them anymore, but I haven't liked the 343 ones. I still to this day don't fully understand what has been happening at the studio that has caused it to be so dysfunctional and to have not a very productive or conducive workflow.
Yeah, I don't either.
Work there, so you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt. But
like, what I don't know as much with video game. Like, I don't know anything with like video game development, but is it crunch time? Is it like development times? Well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, what is it that something like a Microsoft or something keeps them from being able to make a better game or getting things out on time? Are they making them try to hit deadlines or something? Like, I don't know.
But, you know, there's been barely any updates for Halo Infinite despite the large workforce on paper. Player numbers are, well, let me just put this on screen for you.
As of July 2022, Battlefield 2042 has 3 times more players than Halo Infinite. That's mind-blowing. Like, for real, like, holy shit. Because as much as I love the Battlefield games, like the Bad Company games, Battlefield 1942, like, I always mess up on the numbers. Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. I love those games. But like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
That about sums it up. Even if this was in July, Infinite should not be underperforming what is objectively the worst Battlefield game ever. Then you got Microsoft's company-wide hiring freeze, which has been going on for God knows how long, which meant even if 343 needed more hands on deck, they just couldn't get them. Not to mention Microsoft being stingy and weird as hell with its practices on contracted work.
Still mind blown. Battlefield 2042 3 times as much.
which as Patrick Wren says, is a whole other can of worms. Can I just say, Microsoft, your strategy with contract work is clearly not working out. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Fable trailer came out 2.5 years ago. Not a peep since. Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, don't tease something if it's not coming anytime soon, because I can't wait to see the next Fable, bro. I love Fable 1 and 2, bro. They're some of my favorite fucking games. I want a new Fable so damn bad.
Scrolls 6, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 4.5 years.
Hold on, but Elder Scrolls, they take forever to come out. And I can't wait till Elder Scrolls 6 come out, because Lord knows they've had 75 different versions of Skyrim
Since the trailer. And I get that Bethesda's working on Starfield, but this is a pattern I'm noticing with a lot of Xbox exclusives. We get a trailer, and then it's years of nothing. Like huge chunks of time, years before we get any kind of update. Like, think about this.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they follow it up. Just if it's like, hey, this is what's going on, or hey, this early development, it's alpha, whatever. Like you said, he knows Bethesda's working on Starfield, which I don't know much about, but I know it's like supposed to be like the next big IP. But still, man, like, you gotta update your audience.
We didn't see multiplayer gameplay for Infinite until 5.5 years after Guardians released. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not just one thing that's been holding Halo back from the glory of success. Now, I want to take this section of the video to look at some of the notable people that have left 343 in recent years. And my goal in doing this is not to point the finger and say, haha, number company bad, but rather to illustrate how much talent and experience had been at the studio.
I'm interested to see this.
To offer some kind of explanation for the studio's current woes. Chris,
I'm very interested to see this, because I mean, I don't know him by name, but very interested. You can go back a little bit since I interrupted.
To offer some kind of explanation for the studio's current woes. Chris Lee was head of production for Infinite for 2 years and has gone off the grid after leaving Halo, which I find very strange because normally a lot of developers, they don't like leave social media entirely after they leave a video game project. I don't know. But he left at the end of October 28th, 2020. He had been working at Microsoft since 2003 and was involved in the production of Reach ODST 4 and 5. Tom French, multiplayer creative director and the head of development on Forge for Halo 5. He left December 2022. Our boy Tom was at 343 for 11 years. Quindell Hoyle, Halo Infinite lead sandbox designer.
Holy shit, he said 11.5 years he's worked on Halo.
Left shortly after Infinite's release. He spent 9 years with the company. Mary Olson, Halo Infinite lead producer, was with 343 for 7 years and stepped down less than 2 months after taking that position from Tim Longo, who was the Halo 5 and Halo Infinite creative director but left in 2019. He was there for 6 years. Sparth, Infinite art director, left 343 after 14 years. Andrew Witz, Infinite multiplayer lead, left the company on March 4th, 2022. He had worked on Infinite since 2019. David Berger, technical director, been with 343 since 2008. One of the lead creators of the Slipspace engine, he left just days after Bonnie Ross. Aaron Lind, lead writer, left 343. Jerry Hook, online design director, then later head of design for Infinite, left 343 on May 25th, 2022, after working with Microsoft for over 20 years. And finally,
let us finish first.
Bonnie Ross, the matriarch of Halo, who was there at 343 from its inception and who recently stepped down after 15 years leading the Halo franchise.
That's fucking crazy. The amount of people with years, not just 1 or 2 years, but 8 years, 9 years, 13 years, 15 years, 20 years. You lose that much experience, the shit's gonna go bad, bro.
Every one of these people left 343 because of some, mad Kim Kardashian type drama. But it's like the turnover.
And that's true what he flashed on there. Not everybody wants to stay in the same place forever either. Or there's better opportunities or different opportunities or different things that have been afforded to them by working on those studios. So it's not all probably because, Microsoft bad.
Rate of senior and executive staff. It's a lot, man. It's weird looking back on some of the trailers and Vidocs and seeing like all the people who are no longer with the company. It seems to me when this many people with that much experience leave a company, there's just this massive vacuum of knowledge left in its wake. The thing is, I'm not sure how many people currently at 343 have been working on Infinite since the beginning and are now working on the live service. You get what I mean? So to me, it makes sense why updates and fixes are taking so long for this game, because most of the people working on the game didn't write the code they're trying to fix. At least
that makes a lot of sense, because if you don't know how to write the code, you didn't write the code, you don't know how they did it, then they're not, the people that made it aren't there to be like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or you just don't have knowledge in it. Like, it's corny, but it's true. Knowledge is power. So like you lose all that knowledge. And like you said, it's a big vacuum of information lost.
That's what I gather. I could be wrong. Whatever the issues seem to be behind the scenes, like why, it's not quite coming together all the way, whatever the reasons are, Microsoft has remained the one common factor in all of this. It seems swapping people out of important roles at 343 has not produced the results they want. Infinite was delayed a year. It's been 7 years since the release of Guardians. And like, where is Infection? Like, why is something like Infection so hard? Maybe.
What? The Infection, the zombies shit's not in there? The wow, I did not know that. Like, that shows you how little I play Infinite, because I haven't played it since Kenny and all of us would play Halo Tuesdays. But that's true though. Like them, even if it's some of Microsoft, like, okay, we need to swap, something's not doing so well, you're not getting it out on time. Them swapping these people out haven't really helped. Like, I can understand how they're saying it's a Microsoft problem.
Maybe Microsoft was always intent on killing the goose that laid the golden egg, and when they got a new goose that laid bronze eggs, well, they had to kill that one too. Just my theory. And to go back to the topic of contractors, you ever take a few minutes to skim the endgame credits? Well, if you do, you might notice that some names, actually quite a few names, have parentheses indicating what company they were contracted from. There's a lot of parentheses. Look at how many different...
Holy shit. There's a lot of people contracted from outside sources, bro. Like 90% of them look like. So half these people didn't even work from 343.
Collaborating studios they worked with and contracting companies. Airship Images, Atom Hawk, Axis Studios, Certain Affinity, Counterpunch, A Virtuous Studio, Experis, Insight Global, Lakeisha Digital, Liquid Development, Mandali Games, Mindwalk, Noir Studios, OF3D, Pixel Mafia, Red Hot CG, Room 8 Studios, Skybox Labs, Sparasoft, The Coalition, and Undead Labs. I can't even imagine the logistics behind working with that many different companies, let alone trying to get your own studio on the same page, and like trying to get everybody in a rhythm with a singular goal and a single vision of what the game should be. And if you look...
Holy hell, yeah, imagine getting that many moving parts together, and you're not on your own studio of people, but all these other studios of people, and then trying to get everybody on the same page and link everything together and make this work with this and this work with that. And you handle this and all have a singular vision. It's hard for like 5 people, 20 people, 30 people to have a singular vision, but 10 companies with hundreds of people, oof, and each of them do it different ways. Everybody has a different way to do it. No company does something the same way.
Look very closely at the credits. You might notice something very interesting. That being the section on testing. It appears that most or all of Halo Infinite's testing was done by contractors. If I'm not mistaken, a similar thing happened with Cyberpunk, and, well, we all remember what that was like at release.
City of dreams, city of gang, city of dreams, 70 great.
So, like, if you want to find a...
Why wouldn't you have your own group of testers or your own set testers? Like, I know they do that for Sea of Thieves and other games. Like, I know people that have worked on Sea of Thieves, and they were testers and whatnot. I don't understand, like... Or even testers for other games. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't have your own in-house people. When you contract it out, you don't know what the things to look for, and you never know their quality of looking for things. You know what I mean? That's weird. As opposed to people that have a passion for it because they're dealing with the game, they want it to be best possible.
The reason I'm talking about like the workforce and the contracting employees is that the biggest issue with development of Halo post Bungie has been the lack of a consistent vision for what Halo should be. Like I said, Halo 4 feels like the start of a new trilogy, and then we get 5, which feels like the start of a new trilogy. Same thing with Infinite. I think what 343 does a lot of is they incorrectly identify what the problem is and then overcorrect it. For example, think about the co-op mechanics in Halo 5 and being able to, command Spartans around. Something could have been done with that. in Infinite. The problem wasn't the co-op mechanics themselves in the campaign. The problem was you had 3 AI companions from start to finish, and the entire game was balanced around it. But imagine if some of that work was salvaged and put into Infinite. Let's say now you can command Marines. Hey, go get in that Warthog, drive it over here. Simple shit like that. It adds a new layer to the game. You've already done some work on it. That's just how my brain thinks. Here's a more tangible example. How about all the unused assets and hundreds of weapons they made in Halo 5? Like, where is the Mantis? I feel like the Mantis should be in Infinite. So many sandbox tools were, they weren't perfect in 5, but they were good. Like the CE Magnum, the Halo 2 battle rifle. Again, things that you just think should be in the game.
And the Mantis or whatever, it looks a lot like the Metal Gear Walker. I'm just saying, like Metal Gear Rex.
It just seems like 343 has a let's cut our losses and start over philosophy. And that needs to end, dude.
That's the thing too. Every game they just like, oh, let's reboot, let's reset, let's reboot, and that's not a good thing either. Gotta have continuity.
Again, look at Elden Ring and look at Mario Odyssey and Smash Bros. Ultimate. Those games all built up to that final ultimate title that is just, that's what Halo Infinite should have been. The Smash Bros. Ultimate of Halo. 343 has had a lot of amazing ideas that they...
Games should be, especially if it's like, I understand like you do a reboot of like these 3 games, so we're going to start the franchise over, it's a new studio. It's got to always get better and continue to add stuff from the past to the future, you know what I mean? And escalate up to it, if that makes any sense. When you start just leaving things out or just changing it all total, it's not like you're not building up to something. So I agree with that totally.
They've left half-baked. And I'd rather eat a half-baked potato than a frozen one. Halo is a series that needs a consistent vision and a consistent team to pursue that vision.
We always had this vision right from the get-go, which was anyone can build anything.
Giving the fans the tools they can take it and run with it and make it their own.
And when you've got a fucking carousel of leaders, executives, and contractors going in and out, it's hard to maintain that consistent vision. Halo should have assassinations. The game would only be better with assassinations or playable elites. Forge should have been there at launch. Griff,
all of that is true.
These are just staples that should be there.
Yeah, things that you've had in the past that people love, you should have. Them not launching with Forge, them not launching with co-op campaign, them not, obviously they're not having infection or any of these things. It's kind of like, okay, this is what I play Halo for. I don't have it anymore. Why am I going to play it? Let me go play Master Chief Collection. And like was said before, with all the rotating heads and different people going in and out, there's no clear vision because everybody's vision's a little bit different. You see that in any job, like in my job, you go from store to store, people do things differently. You change managers, a manager's going to have a different vision of what they want to see or how to accomplish it than the one before then. So it's no consistency, and that hurts things badly.
There, we all agree, we all understand it. Campaign co-op, it should just be there. Think about split screen co-op. That was the first thing they ever announced for the game that would become Infinite.
Can we reveal anything about the next Halo FPS title today?
I think the only thing that will confirm, as we do listen to fans, there will be split screen.
Liar! The first thing we learned about the game coming after Halo 5, it was going to have split screen co-op. They didn't even know what the fuck the title was, but they knew that. It just seems like 343 wasted a lot of time in pre-production being unable to figure out what direction to take the game in. You know, there's so much unfinished work in the files for Infinite that we've seen. Like, people have known about infection since before the game came out, I think. And it just feels like so much work from people.
So there's a bunch of stuff in the files and in the game data that's not even been, wow, that's crazy, bro. So like you said, like these were directionless. They had all these ideas, and if they made it in, they made it in. If they didn't, they didn't. That's crazy.
Has been rendered superfluous or was like a waste of time, or nobody has bothered to finish work on certain things. Like the smoke screen and the bandit rifle. It's just, making a great Halo game is real fucking hard. But that's what makes it special, you know? They set Halo up for failure.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
And to see former 343 staff say that and blast the...
That is so true. Attitude reflects leadership. Big statement.
Leadership, well, it indicates to me that the lack of vision started from the top and it trickled down. That's why Halo is in the state that it's in. But to come back to the main question, Is there any hope for Halo? Well, there's always hope, but I think if you're happy with the state of things, then you were naive and wildly unrealistic. Realistically, I think at this point the 343 brand is associated with a lot of negativity in parts of the community. I think it all comes back to Microsoft, in my opinion. All of this falls squarely on Microsoft's shoulders, I think, because at the end of the day, they own the franchise.
And I know Phil Spencer's been getting shit on a lot lately. I actually like Phil Spencer, but I know he's getting shit on a lot.
And they've owned it for a long time. They are in charge of who is in charge. Simple as that. You know, to whoever is going to continue developing the Halo games, I just hope you have a consistent vision for what you want to do. A consistent vision of what makes Halo great. Build on the success of the franchise instead of tearing it down to start anew every few years. See if you can salvage some of the work and reuse certain assets from previous titles to make new ones feel more complete. So in conclusion, it is another sad day for Halo 343 and Halo fans. But we will persevere. I don't know what the future holds, but I'd be lying if I said things are looking better. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did and subscribe to TheActMan for more awesome content. Don't forget to check out
All right, everybody. That was a really good video. I love 𝕃𝕀𝕃. I love the things that he puts out there. I've pretty much watched every single one of his videos. He puts out great content, so I will leave a link below to this video. Please make sure that you give any creator that I ever react to, give them a sub, give them a like on their video, leave a comment, show them all the love. I really did like that. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like I said before, guys, I stream over on Twitch 5 days a week. The link will be below in the description. You can come hang out over there with me. If you like this video or want to see more React content, make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want me to react to next. I enjoy these videos. I enjoy doing these reacts, and I enjoy seeing the things that y'all have to say. So until next time, it's your boy, OldManSim. We out here. Peace. Ooh, he just fucking made me do a fuck. That's how I dance in real life, bro. Just like that.